Again, welcome one more time. And I hope we have a great time during the word of the Lord today. That while we talk about something that's extremely important for the church and for us as believers, the Church of Jesus Christ is united all over the world. So the message today is more for people here today in our church. And because the church is one, this message applies to everyone. We have been going through the book of Hebrews on our Sundays together. And if you remember and know that the book of Hebrews, the main theme of the book of Hebrews is to exalt Christ. And according to the book of Hebrews, Christ is the most important person that ever lived on planet Earth. And the author is speaking to Jews at this time. And he does everything he possibly could to convince them to put their trust on Jesus. He tells them that Christ is higher than all the angels. He is higher than all the prophets of the Old Testament. He is the best high priest. Christ is the best sacrifice. And everything is about Christ. If you haven't read it or studied, I would encourage you guys to do it. Because it gives you a higher understanding of who Christ is. He is the person who fulfilled all the promises of the Old Testament. We have come to chapter 10 of the book of Hebrews. And in chapter 10 we've seen that through Christ, God has done something through him that it was impossible through the law or the sacrifices of the Old Testament to be done. All the sacrifices the high priest would do during the Old Testament, they could not do the same as God did through one sacrifice of Jesus Christ. And that is said in verse 14 of chapter 10. This is because through one sacrifice he made perfect all those who are being justified. So through Christ, when we accept and receive his sacrifice, we are declared righteous and made to a point perfect. And there is nothing that God would judge us for. That's what Romans 8:1 says, there is no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. So if you remember the state that the Bible talks about, the state of men before they are believers, they're dead in their sins, enemies of the Lord, they're under the rule of Satan, and going towards an eternal condemnation. And when we see this verse, that through one sacrifice we're made perfect, it should give us a joy in our hearts. Something that sacrifices and high priests could not do before. And when we know this, and because of this, when we know what Christ has done for us, when we know that he has made us perfect before the Lord, what is our duty and what should we do? And usually the Bible works this way. When one author tells something about Christ, afterwards it says, therefore. So it encourages us to do something about the fact the author just shared. So in verse 19 of chapter 10, 19 through 22 is what we're going to look at. And just see what the author says. Guys, English people read it on your own.
Të duke pasur pra vëllezër, guxim për të hyrë në shenjtorin me anë të gjakut të Jezusit, me anë të një udhë të re dhe të gjallë që ai përuroi për ne me anë të velit, domethënë të mishit të tij, dhe duke pasur një kryepref mbi shtëpinë e Perendis, le t'i ofrohemi me zemër të vërtetë, në siguri të plot besimi, duke i pasur zemrat tona të spërkatëra, domethënë të pastruara prej përgjegjes së ligë dhe trupin të larë me ujë të pastër. So I
want to stop at verse 22 where it says, let us approach with the true heart. I think that's what the verse in English says. We as Christians, we talk about other false religions many times. And we say that our difference between our faith and the other ones is that we have a relationship with the Lord. They have it like a religion. We really know the Lord. But very often I can see that even as Christians, we do the same thing they do. For us, many times, Christianity is nothing more than just knowing some facts about the Lord. We do the same thing they do, pretty much. We know something about the Lord. We know that Christ was born through the Virgin Mary, lived, died, was resurrected. But the question today I want to ask is, do we really know the Lord close and personal, like it says here? To be a Christian doesn't mean you just follow a few meetings during the week. To be a Christian doesn't mean you were born in a Christian family and therefore you are one of them. This is not true Christianity. True Christianity means you are close to the Lord. They know God personally. They really, really know. It's not facts about the Lord. The question remains, do we personally know? So many people today say, yeah, you believe and call themselves Christians for many different reasons. But the fact is, biblical Christianity is those who have a close relationship with God. They have been reconciled with their Creator through the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. They have received and they were covered with the blood and they are cleansed. You know, sin was what separated man from God. And for us to regain that relationship with Him again, what should happen? Sin has to be removed. Hebrews 10:14 says, through one sacrifice, He made perfect. Now we can have that relationship with the Lord because of the cleansing that has happened through the blood. So think about this. Christianity is knowing God personally. We are close to Him. Also keep this in mind, you may know many things about the Lord. You may know many things about Jesus and be very far away from Him. Many people are in that state today. Many people that know Bible better than I do. Satan is the one who knows the Bible better than anybody here. But his relationship with the Lord does not stand very well. So So there's a possibility that we can be in this state. So what I want to talk about today is, as brothers and sisters in Christ, so call each other to know God personally and get close to Him. Because we are the only people on planet to have this privilege of having relationships with Him. That we can go close to the Lord. We can go to His throne even though He is the King of all kings. He is our Father. And as His children, even though He has this high authority, you can go play around Him.
Por janë dy mënyra se si ne mund të njohim për Perëndin.
There's two ways we can know about the Lord and not be close to Him.
Së pari, ne mund të jemi super farisej për shembull kohën e Jezusit.
Like you can be like Pharisees in Jesus' time.
They were
very, very religious people, but not close to the Lord. Those who knew many things about the Lord, but they did not know the Lord. Look what Jesus says about them in the book of Matthew chapter 7. Matthew chapter 7. Matthew 22. Okay, so the question. 23, chapter 23 of Matthew, sorry. Verse 5.
Po të kështu, po për të gjitha veprat e tyre I bëjnë që të shihen nga njerëzit. I zgjerojnë fidetaritë e tyre dhe I zmadhojnë theket e rrugëve të tyre. Duan kryen eventet në gostitë dhe eventet e para në sinagoga, si edhe përshëndetjet në shesht dhe të quhen rabaj nga njerëzit. Ta farizejtë kishin një dobësi që çdo gjë që bënin vetëm për të parë.
So the Pharisees had this thing of everything they did, they wanted to be seen by people.
Edhe pse ndoshta nuk e njehnin Perëndin as pak, nuk ishte diçka që e bënin me zemër.
Even though they didn't, it was not something they did.
Qëllimi I tyre ishte që ata,
but their purpose was,
si thonë ata mu fryjnë para njerëzve.
they wanted to show off in front of people when they did things.
Ata ndoshta dinin shumë gjëra për Perëndin, e dimë që e dinin ligjin e sa.
They knew the law, they knew many things about the Lord.
Ata e adhuronin Perëndin me buzët e tyre.
And they worshiped the Lord with their lips.
Mirë, po zemra e tyre shka.
But their heart what?
Zemra e tyre ishte
Their heart was very far away from Him.
Kjo mund të ndodhë edhe në kishat së.
And this can happen in our church today.
Në kishat tona.
In our churches.
Kishat janë të mbushura në fakt shpesh me njerëz që
many churches have a lot of people.
Krejt çka bëjnë është ka njerëz që adhurojnë Perëndin me buzët e tyre mirë, po zemra e tyre është larg.
Worship the Lord with their lips, but their hearts are
zemra e tyre është larg Perëndis.
It's far away.
Dhe kjo është diçka më të vërtetë për të brengosur.
It's something to worry about.
Për arsye se ky lloj besimi nuk është shpëton asnjë person.
Because this kind of faith does not save anybody.
Ky lloj besimi vetëm është një besim hipokrit.
But this is like a
që nuk siguron
faith.
Që nuk siguron shpëtimin e shpirtit.
That does not mean your soul is saved.
Mateo prap 23, aty të vazhdon 25 deri në 28.
In the same chapter 23 of Matthew verses 25 to 28 it says,
Shëni Jezusi ju thot, mirë ju skribë dhe farisejnë hipokrit, sepse pastroni anën e jashtme të kupës dhe të pjatës, ndërsa për brenda jeni plot me grabitje dhe mos përmbajtje. Farisej I verbër, pastro me parë të brendshme në kupës dhe pjatës që edhe e jashtme të bëhet të pastër. Mirë ju skribë dhe farisejnë hipokrit, sepse u ngjani varreve të zbardhuara që nga jashtë duke të bukur për brenda janë plot eshtra të vdekur dhe gjithë çfarë pa pastërtish. Kështu edhe ju nga jashtë u dukeni njerëz si të drejtë, por për brenda jeni plot hipokrizi dhe pavësi. Ta ishin ta jashtë paraqiteshin.
So they on the outside they look like righteous, holy people. But inside there was nothing the same. All they had was the outside appearance. Only religious rituals that they did, but the hearts were. And their end is terrible. And that's why Jesus says, "Woe you, scribes and Pharisees." And my desire is for none of us to be in this state. But for us to know the Word personally. To have that close relationship. That's why the author of Hebrews says, because of what we know and what we have said, the call is let us approach him. The second way that how this could happen for us not to be close to the Lord. The first one was not to be like a Pharisee with your lips but on your heart. The second one is for us we can actually be born again Christians, but not to be completely and fully in a close relationship with the Lord. Yes, we have our saving faith. But many times, we live kind of far away and not in a continuous relationship. Many times our life is so focused on other things that the world offers that we leave our Lord on the side. And when we do this, we leave aside something that is super important. We leave aside that close relationship for us to have this full spiritual life. But the verse from Hebrews 10:19 to 11, which is read, they are actually addressed to Christians. That's why he calls them brothers. Brothers, yeah, those who accepted the blood, those who accepted this new way of entering into the presence of the Lord. He says, brothers, do not regret or do not leave aside this thing, but let us enter in and approach the Lord, our Father. I mentioned in the beginning, I said to be a Christian means to have a close relationship with Jesus. Jesus died, not just to pay for your sins, but he also adopted us into his family. To adopt us into his family. To make us his children. That's why we call him Abba, O Father. We know now when Jesus called his disciples, he didn't say you are disciples, now go do whatever you want. But he got them close, he lived with them all the time. He had that really close relationship. All of us Christians, we are disciples today. And our call is to be close to him and spend time with Jesus. I know there's maybe some philosophies in the world that say, well, there's a difference between simple Christians and then the disciples. But there is no difference. A Christian is a disciple. And a disciple means to be a follower of Jesus. So there's no difference. We're all called to go close to him, obey him, and then work for him. Every single Christian. And as disciples, as those who live with Jesus, spoke with Jesus, have this close relationship with him, we can have this relationship too. Like I said, this is the only thing that sets apart Christianity from all other religions in the world. And I want you to remember this, we can really know Christ. Just don't forget, you can know your Creator.
mundesh me pas marrëdhënie me
You
ta.
can't have this relationship
Sikur
with
Adami
them.
dhe Eva në fillim,
Like Adam and Eve in the beginning,
kur ishin pa mëkat,
when they had not sinned yet,
kishin marrëdhënie me
they had this
Perëndin.
super close relationship with
Perëndia
them.
ecste me ta në përkatës.
God walked with them in the cool of the day, the Bible says.
Ishte mëkati që e bëri këtë ndarje.
But then the sin separated this relationship. Now the book of Hebrews says, through the sacrifice of Christ, only through the sacrifice of Jesus Christ, that sin can be taken away. That wall of separation is broken down. And today we can really have this relationship with Christ. This is not a religion we have just made up. There's so many people today, even in Kosovo, and all over the world. If you ask them what it means to be a Christian, if you ask them this question, and this personally happened to me, I ask them, what does it mean for you to be a Christian? I don't know, I've just changed my religion from Muslim to being a Christian. There are so many people in this state. When we have this privilege for us to really get close to God's heart, we can really know Him in a personal level. If you look at Jesus' prayer in the book of John, chapter 17, John 17, starting at verse 20. Jesus prays not only for His disciples that He had around, but all those who will in the future. Well, look what He says, verse 20.
Ashtu si ti o atë në mua dhe unë në ty. Shini që mas pajnë atë që ajnë me kanë të bashkuar.
So He calls first.
Si Jezusi që është me Atë.
So He called us to be united just like Jesus is united with the Father.
Shumë një marrëdhënie të afërt.
Very close relationship with each other.
Pastaj vargu 23.
And then verse 23.
Unë në ta dhe ti në mua.
I in them and you in me. And just think about this phrase. What connection this is. I in them and you in me. Just like Jesus is connected to the Father, we can be connected to Him. How was the relationship of Jesus with His Father? When He left everything, and He would go and spend personal time with His Father. Jesus continually had this relationship with His Father. And now we're called into this fellowship and union with the Father and the Son. Just like the Son has with the Father. Continually. We can personally know Him. We can have this very close relationship with the Father. So the question is, do we have that relationship? Sincere question. Do I personally really know that I have this really close relationship? And do we spend personal time with our Father like Jesus did? Where we leave all our things we are doing aside and we go to a sacred place, personal place, where we simply hang out with our Father. That's what it means to have a relationship. Is Jesus for us a person we know? Or is He someone we know facts about? Do we spend time in this fellowship and enjoying it together? Like I said, we have this privilege to draw close to God because of what He has done. In a new way, Hebrews says.
kapën një rrugë drejtë që na më hyn
He
drejt
has
prezencën.
opened a new way for us to go straight into His presence.
Dhe ishte ideal në vjetër mënyrë që ishte vendosur tempulli.
You know the Old Testament, the way the temple was designed and the tabernacle and all that stuff.
Vetëm preftrejt mund të hyjnë.
Only the priests could go into the Holy of Holies.
Dhe vetëm kryeprifti një herë në vit.
And only the high priest could go there once a year.
Njerëzit mund të shkonin vetëm deri te rrugë.
People only could go to the courtyard. That's it.
Jo mani.
Not further in. Because sin was not wiped away, it was covered. Only the high priest could go there, and it was a very dangerous job because he could die there. Now Christ, through his body and his blood, who is a symbol of that tabernacle veil that was torn, and He opened the way for us to go straight into the presence. So the question of the author is, why should we leave aside this privilege? We live in a busy world. So many things for us we will never be able to finish. It's hard to find time to go to the Lord. But so much better when we find time in this busy generation to leave everything aside and go. What an honor this shows for the Lord from our part to find time for Him. Many times our life as a Christian has no influence in the world because of this. We do not get close to the Lord. We try to do things for the Lord through our own strengths and abilities. True power comes when we spend personal time. An example I've heard, there was a Christian in Korea that goes to America, a pastor, spends a couple of months there. They asked him, they said, well, what do you think of the church here? He said, wow, you guys are really strong, you guys are powerful. And they're like, why do you say that? He says, you do so many things without the Spirit of the Lord, you guys are so powerful. Because he had seen that gone after activities and things, but few are those who spend personal time underneath with him. There's nothing more important than spending time and getting close to the Lord. No mission, no nothing could be more important. If we are not close. A few practical things that can help us to get closer to the Lord. First, I said we have to know Him so we get close to Him. We have to have a relationship with Him, you have to know who He is. And this happens through His Word. So we read this book is the only book that reveals who God is. God does not reveal Himself through other things. If you want to know the Lord, right here there's no other book. There's no other book where God has spoken and showed His character. So it's important we read this. And this will be your daily food. Like Peter says, like a baby desires the milk, just fresh born baby. When I talked about this the other day, I talked to my wife, I said, well, how often does the baby want milk? Like, as soon as they're born, how often do they want the milk? She said every 10 to 30 minutes the baby wants to be breastfed. Peter calls us to desire this word like a fresh-born baby. And it's important to spend time with us.
Shumë rëndësishme me mbush vetdijen tonë me gjanat e Perëndisë.
Fill your mind and your brain with godly things.
Me një botë ku Satani është munduar me mbush kokën tonë me gjëra.
In a world where Satan tries to fill your head with things that are against the Lord.
Sa rëndësishme është që mendi jonë më ka
It's important for us to have this mind of being refreshed with the Lord.
Që vetdia jonë në qenë gati me reagu në
that are conscious to be ready to react against things that are not of the Lord.
Shumë gjëra në botë, shumë gjëra mëkatare janë duke u pranuar se në botën krishtere.
You know, many sinful things are actually being accepted in the world today, and it's okay.
Nga kisha janë duke u pranuar.
And even the church, there's no other way. You have to accept them.
Për arsye se njerëzit nuk e kanë të mbushur mendin me fjalën e Perëndisë.
People don't fill their mind with what the word of the Lord says.
Edhe vetdia aty nuk reagon.
And their conscience does not react against these things.
Mbyt vetdijen dhe gjegjen me gjëra mëkatare.
They killed their conscience with sinful things.
Sa kohë kalojnë në fjalën e Perëndisë brenda një dite.
So how much time do we spend with the word within a day?
A lexojmë çdo ditë?
Do we read it every day?
Apo e lëmë anësh?
Or do we just
kemi prioritete të tjera?
We have other priorities.
A dojmë fjalën e Perëndisë aq shumë sa që bëjmë gjithçka për të gjetur kohë që me lexuar.
Do we love this so much we do everything to find time for it?
Kemi mjaft kohë me nejtë për Facebook.
We have enough time to stay on Facebook.
Or it's
hard to find time to spend in the Word. So for us to get close to the Lord, we have to know Him through His Word. Second one is prayer, and we just talked about this a little bit. Personal time, personal prayer time. When I say we leave everything aside, and we get close to Him. Every Christian should have a personal place where you go and spend personal time in secret. Take yourself out of the noise and everything else, and you go and spend personal time. Like take Jesus as an example. There were times when just crowds were just all around Him and following Him all over the place. And He could have shown Himself doing and performing many miracles in front of all these people. What does He do? He leaves everybody. He goes spend a night on His knees with His Father. All the way to the morning. Take Him as an example. He spent time praying day and night. Do we love the Lord so much? Everything to spend personal time with Him. Like I said, our life could be so busy. God does not even cross our minds some days. For us to go in His presence. Jesus says when you pray, don't pray in front of people so that people can applaud you or see you. He says go into your room, lock your door, and pray there. And an author that wrote a book about this particular theme, Andrew Murray, he said we can be sure that when we have our secret spot, and we say once a day, this is my place when I'm going to come and spend personal time. He said we can be sure that when we start to go to that secret place, you can be sure that our Father is waiting for us to spend time with us. To go into that fellowship and draw close. So important, personal time, personal prayer time. We want to change so many things in the world today, but they're not going to change through the power of men. Through the power of the Lord. Another thing we could do to draw close to the Lord is gathering together like this with each other. We draw close to God when we draw close to each other, our brothers and sisters. Hebrews 10, 24 and 25.
Dhe le të kujdesemi për unitetin, për të nxitur për dashuri dhe vepra të mira, pa hequr dorë nga të mbledhjet tonë sikur se kanë zakon disa. Na thret Që ne mund mbledh
So these two verses that the author calls us together,
që ne më inkuraju njëri
to
tjetrin
encourage each other
vepra të mira,
in good works,
jo me lënë anash
not to
mbledhjet së
not
bashku.
to leave aside our gathering together.
Është një gjë e keqe sot në botë, njerëz mendojnë që po unë më madhuru për një shpejt.
There's so many people that think, yeah, I can worship God at home, I don't need to go to church.
Po është e vërtetë që mund.
True, you can.
Po Bibla na thotë që mos ta lëm anash,
But the Bible says, don't stop gathering together with your brothers and sisters.
Ata nuk e shohin si të nevojshme.
So they don't see this as a necessity to get together with your brothers and sisters.
Dhe e lën anash.
And they leave aside.
Nuk është diçka që me zipresin më
It's not
takuar.
something to look forward to meeting the brothers and sisters.
Shpesh habitem, shpesh kur dëgjoj njerëz që thonë që
I get surprised every once in a while. I hear people say,
nuk mujta më orë kishte se unë zgjoheva në mëngjes.
I couldn't go to church because I just couldn't get
Kjo është nora
up from sleep. And this is at 10 o'clock.
Se ti shkon 5 në 6 ose 10 njeri pak
If
më.
I was doing service at 5 or 6 in the morning, then that could be understood.
Po nora 10 nuk po smuj më zgjuh një herë në javë, më orë kish.
Not to be able to get out at 10 o'clock once a week to go to church.
Kjo thjesht tregon një farë pakujdesi.
This just shows disinterest,
Edhe është një çështje besimi.
and it's an issue of faith.
Tregon prioritetin tënd.
It shows your priority.
Tregon dashurinë tënde.
It shows your love you have
për
for
Perendin dhe
the
për njerëz të
Lord and His people.
Prapa pet një pyetje, a I dojnë njerëz të Perendis çaq shumë?
Another question that could be asked is, do we love the people of the Lord that much?
Nusën e Krishtit.
The bride of Christ,
Sa që me zipresim që
so
zonë
that
të
we
kishën
can hardly wait for the doors of the church to fly open,
në më shku.
so we can go and
Për këtë do të flasim më shumë jo në aqme.
talk about this more next week,
Sa rëndësishme është
and
që
how
ne jemi
important
pjesë
it
e
is for us to be the bride of
Ka
Christ.
më shumë gjëra, por këto janë vetëm disa që ne mund t'i bëjmë.
There's more things we could talk about. These are just a few things we could do.
Darka e shenjtë është një tjetër shumë.
Communion is one of the other things we
Ne
do
vim
together.
bashkë dhe po kujtojmë
We
vdekjen e
gather and
Krishtit.
we remember the death of our Lord
Para ka bërë
and what He has done on the cross for us.
Sinqerisht për veti kam menduar shumë për këtë gjë.
And sincerely, I've thought myself, I've thought a lot about this.
Idenë të qenurit afër
Just the idea of being closer to the Lord.
është diçka që ne me të vërtetë është e nevojshme për ne.
It is necessary for us,
Po besoj është diçka që na mungon shumë.
and I believe we miss this at church a lot.
Një marrëdhënie. Imagjinoj sikur çdo person ta kishte marrëdhënie në Perendin si Jezusi ka pasur.
Imagine if every person in church had this close relationship like Jesus did with His Father.
Imagjinoj gjërat që do të ndodheshin.
Imagine things that would happen in the world.
Gjërat e fuqishme që do të ndodheshin në këtë botë.
Powerful things happening around the world today.
Marrëdhënia me Perendin,
The relationship with the Lord, our relationship with the Lord.
kur ne kalojmë kohë personale
We
me
spend personal time.
duke i thënë atij
Telling
gjithçka
Him
që është në zemrën.
everything that's in your heart.
Na vendos neve në atë pozitë që Perëndia më na përdor.
Puts us in the position of God actually using us when you go to Him.
Ne nuk mund të nuk më ndryshu botën pa e njoftë Perëndin në ju.
We can't even try changing the world without knowing God personally.
Ju lutem që secili prej nesh ta konsiderojë edhe një herë të
Plead with
tjerë.
you to consider
Tjerën që autori na bën
this call the author of Hebrews
për
gives
shkak
us.
kësaj Krishti
Because of what Christ has done,
për shkak kësaj rrugë të re që ai
because
ka
of
hapur
this new path He has opened for us,
përmes gjakut të tij.
through the blood of Jesus Christ, through His body,
Le të ofrojmë
let us draw close to the Lord.
Froni Perëndis është i hapur.
The throne of God is open.
Edhe asgjë s'mund ta ndalë.
Nothing could stop you.
Pauli thotë nuk ka asgjë që mund të ndalë nga dashuria.
Paul says there's nothing that could separate us from the love of God.
As vdekja, as jeta, as
Neither
engjëll,
death, nor life, nor angels, nor demons.
asgjë,
Nothing.
sepse ne jemi pajtuar
Because we've been
për
reconciled
të Zotit. Kështu që ne
through the blood of Christ.
ne ta përdorim
So let us use this privilege
mos ta lëm,
and let us not
mos ta lëm anash.
leave this thing aside. Let's pray.
Perëndiun, unë kërkoj Zoti Jezus që ti na bëkosh, Perëndi, unë kërkoj që secili prej nesh me të vërtetë të njeh ty në mënyrë personale. Kërkoj që ti të punosh në zemrat tona,